Ever wonder why you bought that item on sale even if you didn't need it? Welcome to the world of behavioral economics, where psychology meets wallet. Take the anchoring effect. Retailers show you an original price to make the sale price seem like a steal. Then there's availability bias. If you've seen it advertised everywhere, you're more likely to buy it. And let's not forget the paradox of choice. Too many options can actually freeze you in your tracks, leading to decision paralysis. But it's not just about shopping. This science shapes policies and regulations, helping us to understand why we often deviate from what's considered rational. So next time you're about to make a purchase, pause. Are you being anchored? Is your choice influenced by what's most memorable? Are you overwhelmed by too many options? Understanding these biases can not only save you money, but also make you a more conscious consumer. A quick personal story. I love getting a good deal, and I still enjoy scanning websites like slickdeals.com, where people very generously and openly share where there are sales and discounts. And I laugh about it now, but I used to buy things just because they were a good value. For example, I would buy a cell phone case for $2 that I didn't need. So I ended up with like a stack of things like in the corner. And I said, why do I even have these things? I discovered them like 5 years later when I don't even have that phone anymore. So I'm learning and am getting better, but it is a process. Judith, you talked about soft addictions. So I wanted to ask you, how does emotional intelligence come into play?
It's hugely important because if we're aware of what we're feeling, it brings us conscious to ourselves, what's going on inside of us, we can then use that to make our decisions, make some more choices. Mostly though, we just want to feel better. We're in a bad mood. We've got stuff going on. We just want to manage our mood in the moment, and we forget about our values. We forget about the things that really matter to us. We forget about our long-term goals in that moment. We just want to feel better. So we buy something, we do something, we turn on Netflix, we eat stuff we shouldn't, whatever, just to try to feel better in that moment. So, but if we are more emotionally aware, if we know, oh, I'm upset, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm mad, and can be with that feeling, we can find many better ways to be able to express that feeling, to soothe it, to tend to it, to unlock it, to understand it. And that's where we get to know ourselves more fully. And then we're not depending on the crutch of that instant buy, that instant satisfaction, that dopamine squirt. And I don't think any of us are immune to it, Andy. It's not just you. I study this. I've been doing this, forever. I'm human. I have those responses as well. But the more I am aware of what I'm feeling and what's going on, I can navigate, obviously, better choices for myself. But without that, it's kind of like we're just little reflexive machines. We're just going to do something to try to feel better in the moment. And we might for a second, but it doesn't deal with what's going on underneath, nor does it really help us toward our longer term goals and the things that really matter to us.
I feel like the big corporations are using science to influence our purchasing, and there's big data, and they have strategies that are really trying to tap into our emotions and make us buy things. George, you've been a practitioner of mindfulness for a long time. Are there any mindfulness techniques that you can share that can help us to battle like overwhelming consumerism?
Well, I think, again, I think that mindfulness goes first of all, it goes very deep. And when we talk about techniques, sure, there are techniques, but why do you do mindfulness in the first place? And, what is it about? We train in the life planning movement, we train all of our advisors in mindfulness. And part of the reason is because mindfulness is a great teacher of emotional intelligence. And the reason for that is, and it's related to what you're asking, because what mindfulness is all about is about an attempt to master the present moment. The present moment is the only moment we've ever experienced. We've never experienced the past. We will never experience the future. We simply always experience the present moment. So mindfulness is an attempt to learn how to master that. And the only way you can do that is by noticing where the emotions get in the way of, in fact, being present. So it's a wonderful way to actually gain emotional intelligence, what you're talking about.
I want to add to that, George. It's right on, because if we're not with ourselves, we don't know what it is that we're feeling. We don't know how to deal with that. And that presence, that mindfulness, that consciousness is really critical. And going back to what you said, Andy, I mean, this is really quite a science now, and marketers know it, stores know it, vendors know that, e-commerce sites know how to really get you to buy. They know the science is quite strong about it. The research is something. But I think if we can be more aware, to your point, George, if we can be more aware of even those signals of how we are trying to be manipulated in those ways, the things, because, everything from signage in a store to the music that they play to the scent that you smell, the thing, buy one, get one free just activates things in us. I'm thinking about it now, the whole sense of scarcity. You can only get pumpkin spice lattes during this season for a couple months. It doesn't last. You better get it while you can. All those things are really triggering us. And if we can be aware of that, we don't have to be so controlled by that. We can be aware, and you know what it's like. You walk down the street and you start smelling those cinnamon buns or the coffee smell or whatever. It automatically, you want to go buy that. But to be aware of those signals, to be aware of what's going on, to be aware that those things are orchestrated to get you to buy, is important for us. So we can decide, do I want to be at the effect of that, or do I want to use my deeper yearnings, my awareness, my greater life visions in order to guide my decisions, or do I want to be manipulated unconsciously by things that are designed to make me buy?
And I'd just like to add, in terms of the how I see, coming to peace with those things. I mean, you can know all these things and be working with your mind to figure it out and understand it in the moment. But honestly, we found that people who keep their eyes on the prize, who really know what it is that their extraordinary life is meant to deliver, they're not subject to these emotional triggers. And the other thing that really reduces the emotional triggers tremendously is having a relationship with an advisor who is a profound listener, who listens without judgment to who you are, and helps you then to articulate what it is that you really want. When you have that grounding, that emotional grounding in that relationship, and you have the prize that you really want out of your life, and you're pursuing it actively, triggers don't affect you. They're there, but they don't affect you.
I think it's important to understand the game so that we have a chance. And just fun fact, I have a very good friend who used to work at a company that Judith mentioned, when you're walking through the store and you smell cinnamon buns, or in the example of my friend, there are stores at the mall that sell chocolate. They don't actually make the chocolate there. So the scent of chocolate actually isn't that strong. They actually have a machine that my friend's company would sell that has wax inserts with scents. So they would sell chocolate scents to the chocolate making store or the chocolate purveyor. And so you can't always trust the smells that are coming out of the different retailers. Just a warning. It smells great and it makes you want to buy, but it's not the actual products that are being sold. With that, we're going to move to segment 3.